Oh boy, here we go. Now we have some exciting news to go over in regards to a bunch of different PlayStation IPs, Bloodborne, Sly Cooper. But first of all, according to Colin Moriarty, Bluepoint Games may be working on something Bloodborne related. He tweeted out, "I'm hearing through the grapevine Bluepoint may be on a journey to Yharnam." He also added more information through his Discord, noting that he was told that they are remastering the game for PS5 and then making a ground-up sequel, which does make sense given the fact that Bluepoint said that they are working on something that's original, but original doesn't have to mean that it's completely original in the sense it's a brand new IP. Original could just be an original new game, and a Bloodborne sequel would definitely fit the bill of something like that. It would be interesting on Bluepoint taking the helm over that, but given that they have done a masterful job with the Demon Souls remake, I think Bluepoint would do a pretty good job with a potential Bloodborne sequel as well. Bloodborne getting a remaster, on the other hand, a upgraded version, and maybe even potentially a PC release. I say this often, but that would just be a license to print money, guys. I mean, people have been begging for that. You could literally release that with the Old Hunters DLC, put that on Steam, and sell it for $60, and I guarantee you it will become the top-selling game on Steam. That's how much people are clamoring to play Bloodborne on PC, and then on PlayStation as well, people would be clamoring to play that. I don't know how you want to tackle it, if it would be like a $10 upgrade. That's been what they have been doing with these definitive editions, Director's Cut, Ghost of Tsushima. So I imagine that's what it would be if you already have Bloodborne on the PlayStation 4. It would be a $10 upgrade to the PlayStation 5. But Bloodborne is a game that desperately needs to be played at 60 frames per second, and I think it would be masterful to be able to play that at 60 FPS, upgraded visuals, and get the PC audience involved as well, because that game at this point, what is it, 6.5 years old? That game ain't pushing any more PlayStation 4s. It could sell a, multitude of millions of copies on PC. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that that game easily sells 2 to 3 million copies on PC, and given that all those sales would come through Steam, you're talking a bunch of digital sales, you're talking about a lot of money being generated for Sony that way. Think about that, a game that's 6.5 years old selling 2 to 3 million copies on PC, all that money for, it would take a relatively decent amount of work, but it's a remaster at the end of the day. It's not going to be something that's a completely brand new project, and just being able to port that, if Bluepoint was working alongside, oh my god, I totally have blanked on their name right now, but Sony recently acquired a studio that prioritizes in their PC porting. That makes all the sense in the world. Obviously, Sony is about to port Uncharted 4 to PC and Uncharted Lost Legacy, so they gotta get that out of the way, and then maybe we can talk about Bloodborne, but at the very least, a PlayStation 5 upgrade would be pretty cool as well. PlayStation 5 and PC is what I think they should ultimately go for, just because that just sounds like an absurd amount of money to be generated, and I don't think Sony would leave that on the table. But a PC and PlayStation 5 release would generate an obscene amount of revenue, considering a game 6.5 years old selling that many millions of copies would be ridiculous. I'm sure Sony will make it happen at some point. Now, Moriarty also did note that he's going to check on it with another person to figure out the validity of it. But the person who, he noted, the person who told me Insomniac is working on a Wolverine game told me about Bluepoint, so I'm happy to pass along the information. Whether it's true or not remains to be seen. He told me some other stuff too, which may become lucid over time, so it'll be interesting to see what that comes out. But I think Sony knows the demand for a Bloodborne remaster, a Bloodborne upgrade, a Bloodborne PC port, and I don't think they're that stupid to leave that on the table. Again, millions and millions of dollars would be left on the table if they don't make that happen. Alright, moving on from that, Nick Baker of the Xbox Era podcast noted on Twitter, "Hey Sly fans, I guess some good news. My normal Sony source was originally told by a newer source, just confirmed to me that Sly is indeed coming back. That's it, that's all. Just to update since many of you still DM me to this day." Okay, so Sly Cooper is a franchise that I think a lot of people want to see come back. I don't think Thieves in Time sold all too well, but I really enjoyed Thieves in Time. Remember, that was released on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, and of course, if you got the true ending of that game, little bit of a cliffhanger there, so I don't know if they're gonna do a continuation from that, or what their idea would be with a potential brand new Sly Cooper game. But man, I still have very, very fond memories of the original 3 Sly Cooper games, and the fact is, the Sly Cooper HD collection is only available on the PlayStation 3. It would be phenomenal if we could get a PlayStation 4 version of that collection. The problem with a lot of those collections, man, that came out during that PlayStation 3 era, we have no way to actually access them through backwards compatibility. There was the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus collection. There was the Zone of the Enders collection. We got Zone of the Enders Second Run on Mars, but we don't have Zone of the Enders 1. And there was a bunch of other collections, God of War collection, and a lot of those collections are just being lost in the wormhole, so to speak, that is the PlayStation 3 games. God of War, Ghosts of Sparta, Chains of Olympus, that collection too. There's a lot of cool stuff, and Sly Cooper collection is one that's being lost on. Sly Cooper, I think, would do pretty well in with a 2021 audience. I just feel nostalgia is really winning over a lot of people in you know, this decade, so to speak. I mean, there's just all these old franchises coming back, and they're doing really, really well from a commercial standpoint. Thieves in Time might have been a little bit too early in 2013. I don't think the clamoring for Sly Cooper was necessarily there. I mean, I was clamoring for it because I love Sly Cooper, but I don't think from a general standpoint that a lot of people were dying for it. But now it's been, what, 7 to 8 years since the release of Thieves in Time, and I think there would be a lot of buzz around a new mainline Sly Cooper game. Now, it'll be interesting to see if it's a PlayStation 5 game. God forbid if it's like a mobile game, because Sony has been releasing some mobile games. That would really, really upset some people. But Sly Cooper making a comeback. Would love to see Infamous make a comeback, and of course, Sly Cooper, a Sucker Punch title. So it'll be interesting to see who's at the helm of working on these projects, but Sony has been quietly expanding their studios, man. You got Housemarque on board, you got the aforementioned Bluepoint on board. I don't think they're done acquiring studios at this stage of the game, so if you can continue to acquire studios, Sony has this vault lineup of just legacy IPs, so many legacy IPs that have just aged with nostalgia, and people think about them so fondly. You look at Sly Cooper, you look at Jak and Daxter, Legend of Dragoon, I gotta get my Legend of Dragoon plug in there, Killzone. These are games that haven't had entries in so long, and I think if you did bring them back, is every single one of them gonna be a home run? No, but I do think a quality Sly Cooper game would be pretty well received, and I'm not saying every game has to have the grandiose budget of a God of War or Horizon, but you can create these games with these legacy IPs, I think, on a relatively limited budget and still create an exceptional experience, and I think that's what you could do with Sly Cooper. I think that's something a lot of Sony should look at, and then not only Sly Cooper, you look at Infamous, you look at some of those other projects that came out in the PS2 and PS3 era. I think there's a lot of potential for Sony's IPs going forward, and again, they have this vault lineup of IPs that I just think good things are waiting to be happen. I don't know if Warhawk and Starhawk are those IPs that you revive, but a Sly Cooper, a Killzone, an Infamous, you gotta pick and choose which ones you want to bring back, but I think those are ones that could be very, very successful. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, hopefully we do see a remaster upgrade of Bloodborne here by Bluepoint, and a full-on sequel would be great to see as well. And Sly Cooper looking to come back if this rumor is to be believed. Would love to see that. Thieves in Time I thought was a great game. Didn't seem to sell all too well, and then of course the original trilogy was fantastic as well. That does it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.